didn't hold back when Jeudy's lack of effort came into question, and it wasn't just about a single play. His criticism hit at something deeper: the absence of accountability in a team that's depending on a young quarterback like Shedeur Sanders to reverse a decades-long curse. The moment Newton called out Jeudy, it put a spotlight on a troubling pattern in Cleveland.
If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed.
Veterans not showing up, leadership crumbling, and a culture that shrinks from pressure. Sanders may have broken a historic streak with his debut win, but the players around him are dragging their feet, both literally and figuratively. Sanders' breakthrough should have been a turning point, but it's being undermined by structural failures, instead of celebrating a generational talent. The Browns are wasting it behind a paper-thin line, questionable effort from receivers, and a staff unwilling to evolve. Newton's comments weren't just personal. They were a reflection of a broader issue. The team isn't ready to support quarterback who is ready. If Cleveland doesn't build around Sanders with urgency and intention, they're setting him up to fail, just like the 42 quarterback before him. It all started with Shedeur Sanders making NFL history. The rookie quarterback came in hot, winning his first game as a Brown starter, a feat no one in Cleveland has pulled off since 1995. That's 42 quarterbacks deep since 1999, and finally someone not only holds their own, but actually delivers a win right out the gate. You'd think the city would be dancing in the streets, but instead, the conversation isn't about celebration. It's about sabotage. Because let's be real, this kid is fighting for his life out there. Shedeur Sanders showed up and showed out. He proved he could make the big plays, keep his composure, and move like a quarterback who belongs. But the spotlight quickly shifted from his breakout performance to something way messier: the Browns' internal dysfunction. Specifically, a team full of underperforming weapons, and a coaching staff that seemed allergic to development. And right in the crosshairs, Jeudy. Let's just say, if Cam Newton had a microphone, it turned into a flamethrower. He called out Jeudy directly, not just for slacking on the field, but for bringing an attitude that drags down the entire offense. It wasn't coded. It wasn't subtle. It was Cam going in on a player he believes is actively stalling the growth of a rising star. When you got a young quarterback trying to build momentum, the last thing you need is a wide receiver mailing it in and throwing off team chemistry. And if anyone knows about being a young black quarterback trying to fight through bias and politics, it's Cam Newton. That's what makes this hit different. He's not just watching from the sidelines. He's been in Shedeur's shoes. He knows what it's like to have to overprove yourself, while others are handed chance after chance. And according to Cam, Shedeur isn't just battling defenses. He's battling his own team. Let's talk about that Browns offense. Because it is not giving what it's supposed to give. The offensive line, a liability. The receiving core, inconsistent at best. There is no firepower, no spark, no reliable rhythm. The plays feel like they're duct taped together. And yet, Shedeur still manages to string together drives, make smart reads, and keep the ball moving. It's giving quarterback with potential, but it's also giving, please someone help this man. And here's where it really gets messy. Cam isn't just calling out Jeudy. He's calling out the entire culture, starting with head coach Kevin Stefanski. Cam didn't bite his tongue. He said it flat out. This team is not setting up its young quarterback for success. The coaching staff isn't building a system around Sanders. They're not adjusting the offense to highlight his strengths. They're not providing adequate protection or giving him a reliable receiver to lean on. In fact, it feels like they're just hoping he figures it out while dragging a broken unit behind him. That's not development. That's negligence. And Cam's message was crystal clear. If the Browns keep treating Sanders like just another quarterback instead of a future franchise player, they're going to waste him. Plain and simple. Shedeur has shown he's different. His decision-making? Clean. His composure? Veteran level. The plays he's made under pressure aren't just lucky moments. They're calculated, confident, and sharp. The kind of plays that separate a potential leader from a forgettable name on a long list of failed experiments. But what does any of that matter if the infrastructure around him is crumbling? The truth is, Cam's frustration isn't just about one game. It's about a larger pattern. especially in the NFL, where young quarterbacks like Sanders don't get the time, support, or system they need to thrive. Meanwhile, names like Dylan Gabriel or even Joe Flacco can exist in more forgiving environments and still get their flowers. That's the double standard. That's the bias Cam was calling. He pointed out that the Browns say they want to win, say they believe in Sanders, but their actions say otherwise. You don't believe in your quarterback if you let the O-line collapse every other play. You don't believe in him if your receivers aren't giving full effort. You definitely don't believe in him if your coaching staff refuses to innovate, or in what happens next, the quarterback gets blamed. That's always a playbook. The system fails, the support crumbles, and somehow it's still a guy under center who gets roasted for not being a miracle worker. Cam's not letting that slide. He's asking, why isn't Shedeur getting the same investment that other young quarterbacks get? Where's the long-term vision? Where's the strategy? And he's not wrong. The Browns' offensive issues aren't new. They're not about this season alone. This is a systemic problem that's been brewing for years. Bad protection, inconsistent coaching, and a lack of offensive identity. That's how you kill a young QB's momentum before it even starts. That's how you take raw talent and reduce it to a footnote. This isn't just a wake-up call for Jeudy. It's a wake-up call for the entire Browns organization. Because right now, they're sitting on a potential game changer. Sanders has it. But without a functioning offensive line, without committed weapons around him, and without a coaching staff that's willing to evolve, that talent means nothing. They're throwing him into the fire and hoping he doesn't burn. And let's talk about that coaching staff one more time. Kevin Stefanski's conservative play calling and reluctance to design an offense around Sanders' strengths is starting to look less like caution and more like incompetence. This isn't about playing it safe. It's about refusing to adapt. And when you have a quarterback who's proving he can handle the big stage, why wouldn't you lean into that? Instead, it feels like Stefanski's afraid to hand over the keys. Or worse, he doesn't see what's right in front of him. Cam Newton sees it. The fans see it. And pretty soon, Sanders might start seeing it too. Because here's the hard truth. The clock is ticking. The NFL doesn't wait around for anyone. If the Browns don't get it together fast, they're going to watch this opportunity vanish. Sanders has the tools, the mentality, and the leadership potential. But even the best players can't thrive in chaos. And right now, the Browns are chaos incarnate. It's not just about one game. It's not just about one player. This is about a franchise that has a history of squandering potential and a rookie quarterback who might just break that curse if they don't let history repeat itself. Cam Newton's comments hit hard because they're rooted in truth. He's not attacking to stir drama. He's defending a young quarterback who deserves better. He's holding a mirror up to a team that needs to see what it's doing wrong before it's too late. If Jeudy wants to prove Cam wrong, now's the time to do it. If Stefanski wants to keep his job and his quarterback, he better start calling plays like he means it. And if the Browns want to escape the pit of mediocrity they've been stuck in for decades, they need to commit, really commit, to building around the one bright spot they've got. Because right now, all signs point to another talent wasted. If you've been screaming at your TV watching the Browns implode around Shedeur Sanders, or if you're just here for the drama, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment. Do you think Cam was out of line calling out Jeudy? Or was it exactly what needed to be said? Let us know below. This saga is far from over. And just when you think the Browns might start to course correct, finally show they've learned from decades of self-sabotage, they go right back to square one. Because here we are again, watching a rookie quarterback deliver more than what's expected, while the people around him deliver less. The Browns aren't just flirting with dysfunction. They're in a long-term, toxic relationship with it. Let's not sugarcoat this. Shedeur Sanders is dragging this offense uphill with both ankles tied, and he's still producing. You can see it in the pocket presence, in the way he steps up when everything collapses, in the throws that make you pause and think, wait, this guy's a rookie? But the spotlight won't stay on his achievements for long. Not when the team keeps tripping over its own. Cam Newton knows this pattern all too well. It's not just about one bad wideout or a leaky line. It's the culture. The culture of a franchise that doesn't know what to do with talent unless it's already polished, packaged, and plug and play. Shedeur is giving them raw potential, leadership instincts, and the ability to extend plays like a vet. But instead of building around that, they're leaving him to fend for himself. And Cam didn't hold back when he took aim at Jeudy. The words weren't pretty, and they weren't meant to be. He straight up said Jeudy's lack of effort is actively hurting the team, that his attitude doesn't belong on a roster trying to rebuild around a young QB, that this isn't just about drop passes. It's about setting a tone. And when your tone is couldn't care less, it trickles down fast. Jeudy's not some washed vet playing out a contract. He's supposed to be a key target, a playmaker, someone Sanders can trust on 3rd and long when everything's on the line. But if he's out there jogging routes, giving side-eye, and making business decisions mid-game, he's not a weapon, he's a liability. And Cam called that out. Not to embarrass Jeudy, but to send a message. This isn't personal. It's about production. If you're not helping this offense move forward, you're dragging it back. Period. And to be fair, Cam's not wrong to be emotional about this. This isn't just another struggling rookie. This is a statement player. Sanders has already changed the narrative in Cleveland just by stepping on the field and doing what 42 quarterbacks before him couldn't. That's not small. That's not luck. That's not coincidence. So why isn't the franchise treating it like the seismic shift it is? Because at every turn it feels like Shedeur is being asked to do everything without being given anything. No sturdy offensive line. No consistent run game. No dependable WR1. And worst of all, no offensive identity. The play calling is a mess. The protection is spotty. The whole system looks like it's being drawn up on napkins during halftime. And yet, when Sanders makes a bad throw or takes a sack, it's his fault? Come on. That's why Cam's comments are resonating. He's not just venting. He's diagnosing a disease. A systemic failure to support young quarterbacks, unless they fit a very specific mold or narrative. If you're flashy, confident, and unapologetically talented like Sanders, the leash gets shorter, the criticism gets louder, and the patience, non-existent. Meanwhile, quarterbacks with half the upside and double the excuses get coddled for years. You know exactly the type we're talking about. And Cam, being Cam, wasn't going to sit back and pretend he didn't see the pattern repeating. He lived it, and he's watching it try to swallow Shedeur Sanders whole. So where does that leave the Browns? On the edge of either a breakout or a breakdown. They've got the quarterback. They've got the fan support. What they don't have is the infrastructure to match. The front office can't keep pretending this is business as usual. If you want Sanders to succeed, you have to treat him like your franchise quarterback now. Not after he's broken, frustrated, or worse, looking for a way out. That means reinvesting in the O-line, prioritizing receiver accountability, and rethinking the way this offense is structured. Because what they're running now, it's barely functional. It's not even giving developmental. It's giving sink or swim. And if you watch the Browns over the years, you know what usually happens next. The quarterback drowns. Then they draft another one. And the cycle spins again. But Shedeur isn't just another name on the list. He's a disruptor. He's already shown he can overcome dysfunction. But he shouldn't have to. Because if the Browns do what they should, if they actually build something sustainable around him, this isn't just a successful rookie season. This is the start of something real. So what now? Well, for one, Jeudy better decide which version of himself he wants to be. The one who shows up and silences the critics? Or the one who becomes a cautionary tale about wasted potential? Because right now, he's getting torched by a former MVP, and not without reason. And Kevin Stefanski? He's got a choice to stick to a playbook that clearly doesn't fit the player he has, or finally adapt, take some risks, and lean into the strengths of his young quarterback. Because if Stefanski doesn't change course, he's not just risking games. He's risking the trust of a fan base that's been burned too many times. And once they turn on you, it's a wrap. Let's not forget, the Browns have a shot at turning the tide. They're not completely lost yet, but they have to move now. Reevaluate the offensive strategy. Hold players accountable, all of them, not just a rookie. And give Sanders what he needs. Protection, weapons, and trust. He's already proven he deserves it. Cam Newton said what needed to be said, not just for Sanders, but for every quarterback who's been thrown into fire without a plan. And now, The ball's in the Browns' court. Will they build something, or will they break him? And that's the real drama here. It's not just one bad game or one fiery interview. It's a test of whether this franchise is ready to evolve, or if it's doomed to be the same old Browns. Because let's face it, history is watching. The fans are watching. And most importantly, Shedeur Sanders is watching. If the Browns don't back him now, someone else will. And when he thrives in a system that actually supports him, they'll only have themselves to, and let's be real, it will get messier. Because if there's one thing the Browns have proven over the years, it's that they can turn any golden opportunity into a full-blown disaster. And that's exactly what Cam Newton is trying to prevent. That bomb he dropped, it wasn't just gossip. It was a warning. A warning that Shedeur Sanders cannot be treated like a placeholder quarterback. That this isn't some preseason experiment where you see what you've got. No, you've got it. You've got the guy. The one who broke a curse older than some of his teammates. The one who didn't flinch under pressure. The one who stepped in and did what 42 other quarterbacks couldn't. And instead of rolling out the red carpet, the Browns handed him a broken offense and told him to figure it out. And now Cam's asking the question everyone else is too scared to voice. What are y'all doing? Because if the Browns can't rally around a quarterback like Sanders, if they can't recognize the once-in-a-generation potential right in front of them, what will it take? Another failed season? Another rebuild? Another excuse about needing more time? Newsflash, it's not time they're lacking. It's accountability. Let's start with Jeudy again since, well, so did Cam. This isn't just about effort. It's about attitude. When your young quarterback is grinding out every yard, try to lead an offense that's held together with tape and crossed fingers. The last thing he needs is passive energy. Missed routes. Sloppy execution. That body language that says, "Don't look at me." And then comes a cherry on top. A public clash with Shedeur himself. That's where things got ugly. Because Sanders, cool-headed as he is, isn't immune to frustration. And if you're a receiver making millions, your job is to make his job easier, not harder. So when tensions boiled over between Shedeur and Jeudy, it wasn't just a heated moment. It was a symptom of a deeper, and Cam Newton, ever the QB defender, saw that. He knows how quickly the narrative can flip. One bad game, and suddenly it's the quarterback's fault, not the receivers who gave up on routes, not the linemen who whiffed on blocks, not the offensive coordinator, calling plays like it's 2006. No, it's always the guy under center. Cam's been there. He's lived it. And he's not going to sit back and watch it happen to the next man up. That's why his criticism hit so hard. Because it came from a place of knowing. And honestly, more people should be saying it. The Browns aren't just messing around with another draft pick. They're playing with a career of someone who could redefine the franchise. But only if they give him the support they give every other so-called franchise guy. And right now, they're failing. Start with the offensive line. How is it that in 2025, we're still watching Cleveland trot out protection that folds like a lawn chair? It's not just bad, it's dangerous. Sanders has already taken more hits than he should. And sure, he's tough. He bounces back. But how long does that last? How many more broken plays does he have to scramble through before something gives? Then there's the coaching. Kevin Stefanski is treating this offense like it's interchangeable parts, like it doesn't matter who's under center, because the system is the star. Spoiler alert, it does matter. And Shedeur Sanders isn't just a plug-and-play quarterback. He's dynamic, he's creative, he's mobile. But none of that matters if you're forcing him into a static system designed for someone else. You can't take a Ferrari and tell it to drive like a pickup truck. If Stefanski can't tailor his play calling to fit the quarterback he's got, then what exactly is he doing? Because right now, it feels like he's just hoping Shedeur figures it out on his own, without giving him the tools to succeed. That's not coaching. That's coasting. And we've seen what happens when a team coasts through the development of a young quarterback. They fall behind. Fast. That's what Cam Newton is trying to prevent. He's throwing up the flare signal before things spiral, before the headlines go from promising rookie to yet another Browns casualty. He's saying, this kid deserves better. And you know it. And deep down you do. You see it in every game. You feel it every time Sanders steps onto the field and makes something out of nothing. He's not perfect. He's still learning, but he's doing his part. He's keeping them competitive. He's showing up, and all he's asking for is the same from everyone. This is the moment where the Browns decide who they are. Are they the same franchise that burned through dozens of quarterbacks and blamed them all when the system failed? Or are they finally ready to do the hard thing? To build, protect, and invest in someone who could lead them somewhere they haven't been in decades? Because make no mistake, the clock is ticking. You only get so many chances to get it right. You only get so many players like Shedeur Sanders. So when Cam Newton calls out Jeudy or puts Kevin Stefanski on notice, he's not being dramatic. He's being real. He's saying, don't screw this up. Because if you do, you're not just hurting one player. You're dooming your whole future. So Browns fans, where do you stand? Are you backing the guy who's putting it all on the line every Sunday? Or are you content to watch another season crumble under the weight of wasted talent and tired excuses? Let us know in the comments. Hit that like if you're tired of the same old Cleveland story. Subscribe if you want to keep seeing someone actually tell the truth about what's going on behind the scenes. And share this with a Browns fan who needs to hear it. Support your quarterback. Demand better from your team. Because Shedeur Sanders deserves more than survival mode. He deserves a shot to win.